Hi, everybody, and welcome to the $1 Billion Banker podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Perrone, and today I have with us Christen Sachs. Christen is the managing director of the Jersey Coast for Nest Seekers, and she's also a lifestyle broker for them. So excited to get to know her today and have her here on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm pumped.
I know. We've been we changed the colors in the room. We're trying to get the vibe down a little bit here. We've been talking to Charles and getting to know each other better over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to have you here. You are quite literally just different. I'll say that, right? Everything you do, from your branding to your real estate business, is it's eye-catching. It stands out. And I have to tell everybody that Christen and I met at the Atlantic Club. So shout out to the Atlantic Club. You can't miss her when she's parked in the parking lot. So I actually ended up scanning her car, and that's how I found out, oh, there's a cool realtor that works out here at the Atlantic Club. Yeah. So very cool how we met. So tell us about Christen Sachs.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for that introduction. You're making me blush a little bit. I think the word different is probably so scary to so many people. Yeah. And to me, it's like the biggest compliment ever, you know, because I think that that's who I am at the core. Mm-hmm. So if you were to ask me, like you just did, you know, who am I? Mm-hmm. I think I'm a little different to everybody. Right. I think it totally depends on your energy and what you bring out in me, because I'm just a huge believer of positive energy and the people around you. And, you know, you want to be around the people who bring out the best in you. And somehow, some way, I find the absolute best clients. I have the most amazing daughter and family, and the team I have, you know, on the Jersey Coast is incredible. Yeah. And what's really interesting is I started with 4 agents. Mm-hmm. I'm a founder of a team, the New Jersey Real Estate Matchmakers, and we came to Nest Seekers. And today we're 30 plus 22, and we went from like a $12 million business to a $100 million business. Wow. And like that.
That's amazing.
And it's so beautiful. So who am I? I'm pretty much kind of trying to be everything, you know. I want to be great at everything. I want to be the best mom, and I want to be the best mentor, and I want to be the best friend, and you know,
more than just a lifestyle broker. And so you run a successful team here for Nest Seekers. Mm-hmm. I think I want to hear more about Nest Seekers. I want to hear more about your brand, and why did you make the move to Nest Seekers?
Nest Seekers really stood out as a brand and a company because it's a marketing and media firm first. So when you think about, you know, the way I grew my business, it's the same way. Mm-hmm. I specialize in marketing and media. Mm-hmm. And so media and marketing first before brokerage was, you know, their mentality. And so when I learned more about that, I was like, oh my God, this is a match made in heaven, because that's me. That's right. You. And I just felt so at home. And I also get amazing mentorship from our CEO, Eddie Shapiro. And he's been in the business 30 years. And we have over 55 offices, over 2,000 agents across the entire world. Right.
International. So, I think that's one of the other things. And by the way, your CEO must be, obviously he's different too, because Nest Seekers is just a different brand, right? The fact that it's a media focused first company, I think that's what makes, you know, the whole team stand out so much.
Absolutely. You know, he is a huge advocate of any type of branding too that makes sense for the company. So if, you know, you want to get on a TV show or you need support with any type of, you know, campaigns, we just had a brand new campaign just drop yesterday. You have to check it out. Okay. It's amazing. Oh, wow. It's all about the extraordinary. Okay. Our company has this motto of just being limitless and being everywhere to our clients. Mm-hmm. So, you know, right now on any given day, we have a client that owns property in the US. Mm-hmm. They could have property in Salerno, Italy. They could be in Mykonos in Greece. You know, they have multiple properties, and we want to be able to help them on every platform. So being a lifestyle broker, everybody always, you know, what is that?
What's a lifestyle broker? Everybody's watching, like waiting to know. What is that?
So I'm full concierge.
Okay.
What do you need? Do you need a beach house?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a private yacht charter for your wife's 40th birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a private jet to take your family to Miami?
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, again,
it's full service.
Yeah. Do you need a Birkin bag?
Yeah. Everybody needs a Birkin bag,
a Rolex. Right? I can get you what you need. I have a connection for.
So how did that vision come about for Nest Seekers? Do you know what the details behind that? How did the lifestyle component become a part of it?
It's really just being full concierge to your client.
Okay.
And, you know, being in that affluent space, you know, it's very common for someone to charter a yacht in the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to participate in the boat shows right now, we have some of our ultra luxury brokers right now. They are in Monaco at the boat show.
That's great.
I'll be at the one in Florida at Flibs. And so
when's the boat show in Florida? You know?
That is the first week of November.
Okay. That's awesome. That's going to be something else.
You should come.
Yeah, I would love to go. I love boats. That's where I'm going to Nest Seekers the next time I need a yacht. I'm like in the middle of selling my boat. So, but it's not going to be the last one. So that's on camera. So lifestyle broker, Nest Seekers, you know, you landed here, obviously you're growing a team here. Tell us about the matchmakers and tell us about your more expansive team that you have at Nest Seekers.
So I transitioned here with my small matchmaker team, and we're still functioning as a team. And we're number one in Ocean County in the Brick area as far as premier agents, and you know, we're doing amazing things from a client standpoint. We meet a lot of amazing clients that way. And then I'm growing the full-fledged office, which is this just in breaking news. You know, we're expanding into Ocean County.
You heard it here first.
Literally here first. Just happened yesterday. So
that's great.
So we have our Rumson office. And then we now have taken over the Summit, New Jersey office.
Yes.
And then we'll have an Ocean County office. And then 2025, 26, we'll begin another little arm of
more expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. So the goals here, I mean, obviously New Jersey's a great spot for the international component of Nest Seekers, right? Because you have so many people from the European continent and overseas that can come here very easily, right? So, and then you have New York and Philadelphia, and so do you guys do business in New York as well?
Oh, absolutely. So a few of our agents in the office have their license in New York, and then a few are in Florida. So they'll travel back and forth. And so essentially we go where our clients are.
That's great.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, everybody has to remember that we are a service provider, right?
I love that.
It really comes down to doing right by your clients and giving them the value add, the unique value proposition that they need, right? So we do the business in New York, Florida as well. What's really cool about our office is that we have a lot of bilingual agents.
Okay.
So
that's great. I met one. Shout out to Gina.
Yeah. Italian.
Yeah.
Greek. Arabic, Spanish, Portuguese. So, you know, again, we're trying to service our clients in the best way possible, and that would be speaking their language.
Yeah, that's amazing. So now you guys know, I mean, and that's uncommon too, but you have that international kind of media first company. Do you find that people will come to list their properties with you because of the components of kind of everything that you offer? They're like, wow, I just came here. It's hands down. You got to have a standout experience, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to the visibility that we need to get for a property. And just by one click of a button in our back office, it's going worldwide.
Right.
Everywhere. Yeah. So not just to the New York City pool of agents, but it's going globally, which is absolutely incredible.
That's big.
So if I have a client that called me today and said, hey, I'm looking for something in Lisbon, Portugal, I'd say, okay, let's book a flight. We'll have a broker there. Yeah. Let's go shop.
Interesting. And now, so this brand, Nest Seekers specifically, you guys have had some real success taking part in like creating some celebrity agents, right?
Yeah.
Is that, tell me more about that.
Well, we had a long tenure run with Bravo's $1 Million Listing, and then we went into $1 Million Beach House on Netflix. We have Selling the Hamptons, which was on HBO Max, now Max, and we had the BBC, Crazy Rich Agents.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of success
awesome.
with.
I didn't even realize it was that many.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Is your CEO is he responsible for orchestrating a lot of the outreach from that perspective? So that's huge. That's huge for agents, especially today. That's got to be I feel like he was like 10 years ahead almost.
You have to think about him being an executive producer. He has that mindset, that production mindset. He's very, very sharp that way. So to be able to create these, celebrities out of, real estate it's a passion project. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And, one day,
that's the goal, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that's very natural for me that I would love to showcase the Jersey coast the way it should be.
What would the show be called?
I don't know.
Do you have a few names you're thinking of?
No, I don't, because I think sometimes you have to title something after you see it play out to see what it would look like. But
gotcha.
So many agents focus on the flashy part of real estate, the selling sunsets. And, you hear a lot of agents talk about that. And, could somebody say that about me? You drive this fancy car and you're always dressed up and you always have 10 pounds of makeup on and all this, whatever. I love to show up this way.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that the outside book cover is the same way.
Yeah, I think you see that across all mediums. Like I know architects that I'm like, hey, I don't know if you would do a job like this. They're like, we do everything. I'm like, okay, because all I see is like mansions on your. He's like, look, those are the things that people kind of will stop and look at.
Absolutely.
The most. And but you're full service all around, right? You
Absolutely.
help, your team is there to help all kinds of buyers and all kinds of sellers, but the overall brand is a luxury focus.
Absolutely, absolutely. But if I have a client in need of something that's not so grandiose, I want to provide a service to my clients. I don't discriminate on houses. I love every house.
Right, exactly. I love that.
every bow. I love it all.
Exactly. No, that's the truth. I think we have to be that way in this environment. It's like you kind of have to be diverse. You have to be available to everybody, and that's just how we're going to grow. I mean, as much as we'd love to have all $1 million homes to sell, the reality is this is a big first-time home buyer market right now too.
Sure.
And those first-time home buyers will be your mansions of the future anyway, right? To all the first-time home buyers out there that haven't bought yet, I mean, you read the books like The Millionaire Next Door and stuff like that. Those are, you start with your first home and you kind of build from there. And, you never know what's next. One of the things I'm curious about is like, what would you say to someone today who's building like an online brand and they're really looking to grow their presence, and maybe they're out there, maybe they're a realtor thinking, I might need a change. Like, what would you say to them today? What advice would you give?
Well, honestly, I attract a lot of agents that way.
Okay.
Where they will reach out to me and say, I love what you're doing. I'd love to work with you, or, I'd love to learn from you. The one piece of advice I would give anybody,
right?
Because I've interviewed someone 3 years ago and then just hired them last week.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right?
Because maybe that wasn't the right time, but they know if they go back to my page or, my brand, they're going to see the same thing.
Right.
Maybe more polished, maybe more elevated at this point because I was growing over those 3 years, right?
But still have some I need to delete from like a year ago.
Archive.
My Zoom videos were not that high quality as the studio is, but you have to start somewhere, right?
Well, and that's so the consistency. That's the one word that they would, take from this conversation is that you can call me anything. The consistency is what I have been over my course of my real estate career. It's like I speak the same message.
Right.
I do the same work and I meet amazing people, and I've been consistent on that path. But the truth is we all start somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And that's the beauty of real estate. It's the beauty of life is that you can literally make a decision today and change the outcome for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's where, some agents get hung up. And listen, we can't be our best every single day. We try, but we might have a down day. But guess what? Pick it right back up tomorrow. And so you might have agents that are down on, their goals or their results or whatever the case may be. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. you just
start
decided, yeah, we're just going to pick up and we're going to start again tomorrow. And so I do that too.
This is part of your mentorship that you offer. And when I met with you and Gina the other day, you were showing me some of the stuff that you do for your agents. Can you tell us about that? Because that's so important. I think a lot of people are on an island on their own, but you offer a really tight process for your team to help them grow. So
sure,
tell us what that looks like.
I mean, I can't share all my secrets,
not all of them,
but I come from a branding background. My past life, I worked for some incredible brands. I mean, right out of college, I was working for Guess Jeans.
We're going to tag all the brands here.
Guess Jeans had been around, they literally, their inception was the year I was born. We're not, don't look it up. We're not dating me today. But
let's see, Guess.
So I grew up in my career understanding the strength of the consistent message to your consumer.
Right.
It's important. And it's culture, it's brand, it's everything. Then I moved over to Pandora Jewelry and I managed business development for them. And I met incredible entrepreneurs all over the tri-state and region. And that's another big brand that have these amazing platforms. And so I had an advantage coming into this space because I put all of that work in those brands and I started building my own. Yeah. And
so you offer mentorship there.
I do because it's about the consistency, but it's about the brand here of nest seekers at the Jersey coast. The language needs to be the same across all platforms. And I think a lot of the challenges, maybe with other brands is that they have little deviations here or there or then there. And then so all their agents aren't speaking
the same.
Yeah, the message isn't the same. And so that's where it becomes a little confusing.
Right.
So for me, I make it really easy for our agents where I provide resources and materials. And it's not just me, it's our company. Yeah. I'm able to spread that same message from
you guys are
my platform.
From that perspective, you and the company have this same kind of
media
background, advertising background. And a lot of people in sales, they're great at talking to people, they're amazing at what they do, right? But they miss that part of this. And I don't think the market today is as forgiving as it once was for missing it, right? It used to be like, oh, I don't do every door direct mail, like I'm not doing that, I still get listings. Now it's like, it's kind of like if you don't have an online brand or image at this stage of the game, like you're really, it's almost gonna, like, I feel like you're almost gonna get swallowed up at some point, because if that's where everyone is today, like I can't imagine what 5 years from now is gonna look like.
Well, you have to think about your online brand being your resume, right? So
that's a good point.
Anytime you apply for a job, a corporate job, they read your resume. But first, before they read your full resume, what do?
Right.
They grab their phone and they look you up on Instagram. Yeah. They look you up on Facebook. What type of brand do you have for your own personal identity?
Right.
And so they're really doing their homework that way. It's the same for our clients. Our clients, Google, Christen Sachs. What is she up to? Does she really do real estate? Does she sell houses?
Yeah.
And so they go and there you pick.
Yeah.
There's articles, there's my websites, there's everything that I'm at this every single day. Yeah, I'm as full time as it comes. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about, I think when we were with Gina, how this is this is prospecting now. This is the prospecting of today is building your online image consistently. And I think so many people say like, oh, it's so time consuming to do like a reel or make the content or whatever it may be. But so is making a cold call. So is going to a networking event. So all these other things that we've been doing for decades that work to generate business, it's also time consuming. But this one, the big difference is the amount of people that you can reach with that effort, right? You make a cold call, you're calling one person, right? And that might be a 30-minute discussion. You make a video, it can be seen by thousands of people.
Sure.
It can be sent out to your entire database. So there's a lot of advantages, I think, when you think about using it as a tool to prospect.
It's a lot of hard work, the marketing aspect of it. And, today, I think agents, realtors, brokers, everybody out there in this industry has to understand that to be a good salesperson in real estate, you need to be a great marketer.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. This is not new news. This is, from before my time of real estate.
Absolutely.
They took out the best ads in the newspaper. They had these benches with their pictures on them. There's new and improved ways of doing all of this, but that's only one lane that we're doing when it comes to video and media and all of that. But we're also tapping into all of those other those other areas that are needed as well. Like, don't get it twisted. We are in sneakers, pounding pavement, door knocking.
Right.
I sold 3 houses on one street that started at, oh my gosh, that first listing was $555,000 for like 4,000 square feet in Farmdale.
Wow.
Today, those houses are being listed at $1 million. So I'm not going anywhere. I will continue to send mailers to your house. I will continue to walk and knock on your door to remind you that I'm still doing business here.
That you're here, yeah.
And so that's the main job of a real estate agent. And this is obviously for all of you agents out there, is that it is not your client's job to remember who you are.
Yeah.
It's our job.
That's a great point. It's so true too. Because if you think about like you as a consumer, right? You're like, oh, what was the name of that company or that person from that company? And you're like, oh, wait, they email me like every week. Let me just look it up real quick. And it pops up in the inbox. Like, we have to stay front of mind for them because there's so much coming at people now. If you're not connected with them everywhere and you're not everywhere they are, they're going to find someone else. I mean, even down to, I forget what they call it, but when a website kind of follows you around, and now websites have the ability to hear what you're saying, and then
the little cookie trails following you everywhere. Yeah, it's very impressive, actually.
I had a guy that came on who you might want to meet, Ernesto Carlari, and he does geofencing. So he was explaining to me how, like, Burger King will find out that McDonald's has a bunch of traffic going to them, and they'll actually advertise like the Whopper to those people. You actually bid for advertising space on someone's phone based on where they're going because you want to do the business. So cool. Yeah. So you might find someone that's going to like do some kind of behavior that's similar to buying a home. You find them and like you start bidding for space to advertise. So the capabilities are endless, but so is like the cost. What do you do with an agent that's new or starting? They're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, help me, Christen.
Well, I mean, we have to always be realistic.
Yeah.
Because there is a true startup cost, like any other business model. Right. You'll have a percentage of your business that you're going to focus on marketing. With newer agents, they might not have that budget yet, but that's okay. It's just like getting a flip house.
Right.
Build up some sweat equity. And you might have to walk the streets with your mailers or your flyers, whatever the case. You may have to go and spend 8 hours at the coffee shop or at that community event. It's all time invested. It's
part of it, yeah.
So
what would you recommend as a marketing budget for an agent? Like, what percentage of
you can't ask me because I am so obscene because this is something I love to do. And whether you hate my marketing, you love my marketing, it's conflicting, whatever the case may be, you're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah,
and the fact that I'm a conversation at a table because you scanned the QR code on my gold G-Wagon.
Yep.
That was the point.
Right. Because whether you think that's like loud and obnoxious or you think it's like so creative and like amazing, you still are talking about it.
And it's everything. And it's everybody's going to have a different opinion about it. And that's the whole point. It's a conversation starter.
Well, and it's your willingness to allow people to have that opinion. Like I remember when my fiance helped me with this, I was like, I want to do like the $1 billion banker, similar to like the $1 million listing, right? Sure. I want to make like banking something that's cool, right? I want it to be catchy and I want people to remember it. And so even like to this day, I wasn't totally comfortable with it. She was like, you do it. It's awesome. It's cool. Like you have to get comfortable pushing the boundaries a little bit when you do want to get creative with content. Some of it might have to be funny. Some of it have to be educational.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's like kind of like showing different parts of yourself through the process.
I'm going to give you real life right here. That truck. So I had thought about doing it 4 years ago on a pickup truck. Okay. Because I'm still like, grew up daddy's little girl, like tomboy. I ride a motorcycle. I am very much like I'll get under a car. everybody
So
sees
you
the
were like,
flashy high heels and
I
all
don't
that,
know
but
which
like,
way to go here.
right. So I envisioned the pickup truck so I could help my clients move things if I needed to.
Right.
And then it never came to fruition. And so Nest Seekers was such an easy branding tool that I said, oh my God, what could I do that would be amazing? And let me get a QR code on the back of a car. Yeah. And so I went to Wrap Innovations. They're in Wall. They're this incredible wrap company that do amazing vinyls. They just did a Rolls Royce. My jaw was on the floor. So beautiful. Wow. But they do such cool things. And I said, just do the back of the truck. Just do like splashing. If you see my business card, it looks kind of like splashing gold. Just do a little splash on the back with my QR code and let's call it a day. And he says to me, and Eric, I'm going to quote you right now. He goes, Christen, I've known you for 5 minutes. Yeah. You need to wrap the whole thing. Yeah.
So the whole truck is a wrap?
The whole truck is a wrap. It's black underneath.
Because gold. Yeah, they don't
make
that
it's black
color
underneath. So I had a pit in my stomach because I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, it's so obnoxious. It's so loud. Am I going to be a target? Like, I don't know. Like, is it safe? I just started kind of freaking out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I do best. And I'm just going to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm just going to be vulnerable with the decision. And I'm just going to do it. Yep. And every day, it's been like that for like a year and a half. And now every day I'm like, God, why didn't I do that sooner? Why didn't I do it sooner? Yeah. But it's a true testament to all of us in business to really push ourselves outside the limits because again, some of these decisions aren't like easy. Like, oh yeah, I mean, I love marketing and I love doing all this stuff, but that for me was not an easy decision. Right. But somebody who knew me for 5 minutes and my personality was like, do it. Yeah. Well, because sometimes you need that push. I think it is right. And I did it. Person that says just do it. Yeah. And I picked it up and I went, holy shit.
You were so glad you did.
This is insane. Yeah. And now I'm like, okay, what's the next thing I need to do? Because this was, you know, and that's just my personality is like the next thing. And I want like, what's the, you know, but you have to drive it. Right. Yeah. You got to get it out there. You got to go. And I mean, it's innovation, right? So anything that we're doing in our business, we constantly, you know, I made a video not too long ago. I was like, you know, I kind of like when I was younger, I used to think like once you made it, you kind of made it, right? Like you're there. Now it's just like you just do the work and you're there. And that's really not the reality, right? It's like once you make it, like you have to keep making it, right? And so it's to your point, like you have to kind of define making it. Look for the next thing. Well, that's it too. Like, I mean, it really once you achieve one goal, you want to achieve the next, right? Sure. It's a devil and a curse, right? What's the saying? It's a blessing and a curse. Yes. So when you're driven and ambitious and you want to continue to grow and all of these things, you get satisfied to a point and then you want to move on to the next thing. But it's exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting. And to be the catalyst of change in an industry is truly special. It's big. You know, like I think it's I really being different in this space to me is thrilling. Yeah, it's true. You have to find a way to stand out. And so when you think about buyers, let's talk about them for a sec, because obviously we've spoke a lot about agents. And so for agents that are out there that are thinking about upping their game in this space, like this is just the natural space to be, I think, right? I think that's kind of clear. So, and in the description section, we'll have your way to follow Christen and Nest Seekers if you're not following already. Or they can come to the Jersey Shore Women's Conference where I'm talking about marketing. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about that actually, because that just came out recently. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That just happened. So I actually have to send some of my info over there. But I'm asked to speak sometimes at events about marketing because, you know, it's a way to really help elevate other agents' efforts, goal planning, development plans, like whatever the case may be. And so October 17th, right? Okay. Yes. Yeah, you can buy tickets. We'll drop the link when available. So they got to get you on. You got to send your stuff over because they got to get you on here. Yeah, because that just came out. So because I remember we were talking about it. And I'm like, where is? That's so funny. So yeah, the women's conference is a great thing to go to, right? Where you can attend and hear from different women in business on different topics. And
if you're interested in go. Register, and we'll put the link below too. That's a good idea.
And you're the keynote.
I'm the keynote speaker there. Yeah. So it was so funny when we came up with like,
so random.
Like, well, you are too? That's hilarious. So I'm going to be talking about the science of luck. I think I told you that. And, I'm practicing this presentation, but it's going to be all about how you really can control your destiny and the luck that you attract to you in many ways. And so when you put it like that, the science of luck, you're like, okay, people don't really control this, but you do actually. You do. You'll see kind of through some examples that we talk about how you can, and hopefully people leave inspired to create their own luck. But, so we'll talk about buyers in a second, but actually now you reminded me, women's in business. That's like a big focus of yours, right?
Big.
So tell us what you've done in that space.
I think a lot of people don't necessarily know, or it's not something that you can just read online, but I come from a background of a very humbling, very, very humbling beginning of motherhood.
Okay.
And so, and my daughter's 17 now. And I, went through my career in being a kind, supportive leader. No matter what role I had, it was all about how I wanted to be a leader. And I had many leaders in my past life that, for lack of a better word, were really disappointing. And so to me, finding some female mentors that I've had to really help shape who I am. And sometimes you're treated differently as a woman in a leadership role because you can be intimidating to people. I'm 6'3" in heels. It's a lot for some people. And I really wanted to focus my time and energy helping other women, like help pave the way for other women to take on leadership roles, to express themselves, to continue to elevate themselves in business. However, I can support other businesses outside of my own industry, whether it's doing a fashion show at a local boutique or using the restaurant for catering. However I can incorporate a collaboration with small businesses is huge for me.
Big.
Women owned too is even So I had founded Driven Women with my partner 4 years ago. And so we had a networking structure where women from all over New Jersey came together, and we've met so many amazing business owners.
Are you bringing it back or what? Are we gonna...
You know what? It's definitely been on the table because we miss it, and we attracted so many incredible business owners. So that's definitely something that I'd like to circle back on. But we had a podcast as well, Driven Women Unfiltered, and
cool.
So the focus on, that support and leadership is incredibly, incredibly important to me. So I have a 25 person female squad out of my office. We have a lot of women, and it's where everybody can support each other, collaborate, learn, grow, be vulnerable in a space that they're not competing.
Right.
It's a healthy environment.
The biggest challenges that women face in business, what would you say?
I think being underestimated.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that someone could easily look at a video or watch me walk up in a certain way, or anybody. It doesn't have to be me. And say, oh, okay. Here's Miss Fancy Pants coming up here, and you don't necessarily think that she's as knowledgeable.
Right.
And so I think underestimate me. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. I wonder if do you find that the agents that you've attracted a lot of women agents because of this philosophy that you have and your desire to help women? What's their feedback to you on working with you? Do they tell you this is amazing, like working for a female leader?
I think that their focus is their own growth and feeling comfortable and confident in a space where they're doing things they didn't imagine that they would ever do. We had an agent come in. She came from a big team from another company and came in. Her first year had the highest sales she ever had.
Wow.
Got her first Circle of Excellence
That's
award.
huge.
Became a broker.
Wow.
Sold the highest priced house she ever sold. And now she just opened an office.
That's great.
It's that to me right there. Oh, I just got the goosies.
That's the
to
story.
me is so incredibly rewarding. Like that journey. And you know what? She just texted me the other day and she just goes, I just can't tell you how grateful I am to have met you at the time I did, because I want to be able to instill that confidence in everyone, because I have to remind them if they ask a question about something like, you know this. You know this.
I think that that's part of what you find in female leadership a lot of times is there's a little bit more of I don't want to say like mothering, but kind of like this encouraging side, like, hey, like I you can do this, like believe in yourself. And sometimes it's helpful to hear that from another woman, right? Instead of to hear it from somebody else that might not understand some of the things that you go through.
And it's a balancing act because we're moms, right? We want to be our business owners.
Right.
We want to be an amazing wife. We want to, be great friends. We want to do all of these things.
Right.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Balancing motherhood. A lot of our ladies have small children. I mean, we're talking a year old or they had the babies while they were there. Yeah. And so to balance all of that, and also you need self-care. You need to take care of yourself and fill your cup first. So there's a lot that goes into it. And we're doing all of these things. Like we are near superheroes today, So
it's true. It's really true.
It's a lot, but like to be in a space where all of that is totally normal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have to go do so-and-so with baby Bobby, to do your mom I have back to school tonight, I couldn't come to your event. I had a back to school night.
Right.
So, those things are part of it. It's normal.
It is. And I did a video on like, creating your boundaries. And, I think that kind of showcases the kind of the flexibility that women have within their business. They have so many things to manage in a lot of ways. And so maybe sometimes that's what makes them not always get taken as seriously or be underestimated. Oh, they're at home. They have to do something else. I'm here working or whatever the case may be. But what would you say to about men working for women? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Not really. I think it's I wouldn't know. I've never asked.
Right.
But I'm the same to everyone. Right. So it just depends on what type of mentorship they're looking for.
Right. I always say that. It's like when you're a leader, right? You're like this servant leader. You want to know, what do you need from me? Some women might come to you and say like, I want your full mentorship. And so a man might come to you and say like, here's what I'm looking for. I just need someone to help me with X, Y, Z. And so you tailor your approach.
And when you need me, I'm there.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think it really is more customized for each individual because you have to understand their skill sets,
right?
Their strengths, their opportunities, and then be able to leverage those in a way. So it's really knowing each individual intimately. Like I need to understand what's important to them in their life.
Yeah.
We have one agent I met, oh my gosh, she's with her husband 13 years. So almost 14 years ago, I met her commuting to New York City on the bus.
Oh, wow.
And we were just chatty Cathy's on the bus, doing our daily grind to the city. And she ended up getting into real estate as well, like I did. And her mom, we call her mommy. She's our office mommy. She's 85 years old, and Mommy Jane comes in and she is just like the support, the love, the energy. Awesome. And she comes in and she's part of our family. But
that's awesome. Everybody needs like a mom, like we have like this woman on our team that we call like the team mom almost, like, cause she's just so great at onboarding people and helping and holding their hand. And so there's always got to be like one person that's like that.
Well, it's more like a family environment. So I read something on LinkedIn yesterday that was like, I think some people may have thought it was super disturbing because it was basically saying your colleagues at work are not your family. I repeat, they are not your family. And so they went into this whole long drawn out, like, your corporate job will drop you and replace you and all this, whatever. And I'm sure it was meant to be controversial because the comments were wild.
Really?
in this sense, where this is our own business, it is very much meant to be a family. So I think I mentioned Layla Hermosi to you. She said something in one of her podcast clips that really resonated with me, because it's how I am, in that she tailors her employees to be her family in a way that they spend the most time in their job and working. And so it does become a family. Those are the people she wants to spend her time with. And it's the same thing in this sense, is that all of these wonderful ladies are part of my family. We do an amazing job. We love to do, we love to service our clients, but we love to do it together, and we can be vulnerable, or we can, you know, have little holidays together. We could do all these things. But at the end of the day, we are getting a job done too. We get to do all of it. And it's all so exciting. So we're not balancing work and life balance. It's one thing. It's
whoever
our lifestyle.
did that post, I bet recently got fired from their job. Just like really mad. Because I mean, if you're like a manager or a business owner or a leader, I just saw another mortgage company do a post about how they did this amazing retreat with their team. It was very intimate. Everybody stayed in the same house together, which was like totally different. Not everyone had their own rooms, and they did yoga and they did hikes and they found ways to really connect and open up with each other. And the reality is like, if your company doesn't feel like your family, your likelihood to leave that company is much greater than staying. Right. So I think that, yes, business is business. It will always be business. Right. But there's got to be that element of trust that comes with a familiar relationship.
But my mindset and overall mentality for my business is quality versus quantity. And rather than hiring 150 agents like any other office would do, like hang your license, to me, I want quality individuals that want to grow over their career and do that with me.
Yeah. And you could show them how you did it, how you're continuing to do it.
Yep. So it's a long-term strategy. So I don't just hang licenses. It's not my style.
Gotcha. I love that. Well, I saw that you just recently hired someone that's going to be focused in the Asbury Park area. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously you have presence in Rumson and Summit. So a lot of these locations are pretty...
Each agent has their own area. Okay. So everybody is focused on. So we cover literally from
every location.
Longport down at the bottom of the coast all the way up.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
What's next for you? What's next for real estate? What are you thinking as you think ahead?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I'm always planning. So we have some speaking engagements coming up and really fun events I like to host for my clients. But I mean, we're gonna see. I'm always doing something. I don't have one individual thing happening, but I've been talking about writing a book, or, you know, there's a couple things that were on my vision board for this year. That's awesome. I'm very much a checker offer, like highlight done. You know, I like to go through. But I like to stay very, very agile. And I think the agility has really helped me succeed in this business, because I can evolve as quickly as the market is. And I never stay like super hyper focused on like this one structure, right? I can ebb, I can flow, and I can be strategic, and being more of a creator and being able to like come up with strategies is awesome. And it is so fun. And when something is ready to change, I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Let's do it.
You know, where other people are like, oh my God, no, I hate it. And that's the one thing that's inevitable in life is change. So buckle up, baby, because that's what we're doing every day. And I love it.
And you know, Gary V, you made me think about this. Gary V, many people know, right? He's awesome. He always says that, first of all, he says media company first, and then everything is second, right? So that's how we should all be walking around. But he also says like he never falls too much in love with anything specifically, right? When it comes to business, because something might change. So you can't fall in love with maybe even a market, right? Like I was in Manhattan for forever. I still do business there, but you can't fall so much in love with it that you can't say, hey, most of the business is going to Florida. I mean, I got to focus on Florida or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So don't fall in love too much with anything where you're not willing to change to follow the direction of where things are going. So that's a key point.
He actually said something years ago in one of his podcasts that I had heard, and I was like, yep, I'm going to do that. He literally said, somebody had asked him a question about posting on Instagram. Like, oh, is this many times too much? And, or I didn't really like how this one turned out, or whatever it was. Yeah. And he's like, just post it.
Yeah. Just
post it.
Yeah.
Whether you love it, hate it, it's not your best work. Just keep posting and do it all the time. And so that's what I do. And listen, we're our own worst critics. And I'll be like, ooh, and I'm sure today I'm going to be like, oh, maybe I put a little too much blush on, or maybe my highlight was too much. I will probably go, oh, maybe I look too thick, you know, but
every time. Yeah. That's how video is going to be.
It is what it is. Yeah. And you just have to be comfortable in that uncomfortable space and just keep moving forward and keep making more content and keep putting that out.
There's no doubt.
Because, you know, it's my clients that I'm servicing, and I'm putting out the house and the house and the house again and right. So
all of this philosophy that we've spoke about today, everything that Nest Seekers is, that Christen Sachs is, this all translates right down to your clients, to your buyers, to your sellers, like your philosophy on how you think about your team, your business, your life. It all transcends. So the same way you're agile for yourself, you're agile for your customers. And I think, and the same way you market yourself and your business, you're going to market your customers as well. And so that's all critical for them to see and know.
I had a client that I closed on 4 years ago, and they texted me last Friday and said, hey, we got the night free. You want to go for dinner? I haven't seen them in 4 years.
Yeah.
So what do you think I did?
Yeah. They're like, I'll be there.
In the car. Yeah. Let's go. I couldn't wait to see them. Yeah. And they were like, oh, we're following you on Facebook. Like, we just love to see, because who I was 4 years ago is not who I am today.
They're like, wow, they're seeing your evolution. And that's the other thing. Like, you have to be comfortable with putting that out there. And I think we learned a lot today, although you came here we're going to talk about real estate a little bit more, and we will again. We'll do our next podcast on like a Nest Seekers yacht or something like that. We'll get the CEO to like hook it up somehow.
Coming soon, Nest Yachts, New Jersey. It's happening.
I saw that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, like selling yachts it's a whole nother thing.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
I know. I actually
the commission's pretty strong too on selling yachts. Maybe that should be the next show, selling yachts. Does anyone do that? Or?
He said, I was with my CEO yesterday, and he said, we talked about the yachts, and he's like, well, what do you think about them? I said, I look good on them.
They look good. Yeah, they're amazing. I mean,
just started laughing.
Oh my gosh, they're just beautiful.
If you're passionate and you're excited about something as a salesperson, it's very, very natural and easy for you to sell it.
Yeah, no doubt. And how could you not be excited about those yachts? We're gonna have to like splice in a picture of some of them.
Well, I have my boating license.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have quite a few licenses.
That's good.
Yeah, but not that I need to captain a yacht, but it is a very, very cool experience. It's a very cool experience for anybody.
10% commission on a yacht sale. Listing broker, selling broker. It's very similar to real estate.
I have to tell you, true story is that I never look at commissions like that. Like, I will never be the one to get a calculator and start.
Don't judge me then, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you could look like
person.
A $5 million yacht.
I work out of my heart naturally, so I'm focused on what does my client need, and is it going to hit that objective, right? Am I going to be able to satisfy that need or provide that value to them, versus the 10%, which yes, you're right, it is, and you can be my calculator. But I never look at things like that. But it is it's a very cool lifestyle to live and to be able to sell and to understand.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So anyone out there that's ready to buy a yacht and not ready to buy a house, I think the financing has come down, right? So I'm doing the math there. The rates on buying a boat and the terms are similar to when you buy a house. You do 30-year financing on a boat. So it's kind of similar to getting a mortgage where you could get approved and you could finance it, and then you get your crew and everything else. So I'm so excited that you came today. This has been a great
honestly
interview.
Love this so much. It's
Awesome.
amazing. The studio is amazing.
Yes.
Obviously the conversation, but I think there's so many ways that we can empower each other as business professionals. And I think more people really need to really extend themselves and reach for those things, because there's so much crossover in our clientele or, you know, people at the gym or what I talked about you in the sauna today because they were like, oh, what are you up to this week? I said, oh, I'm going to
need a mortgage.
I'm going to do a podcast today with the Billions Dollar Banker.
Yeah, see, that's really cool. That's how it goes. Like when I talk to people today, it's about collaborating, right? It's not, hey, how can we do business together? It's like, how can we collaborate? How can we share and how can we grow? And so, you know, that's what this podcast is all about. Hopefully you guys learned a ton from Christen today. I think she brought a ton of value to the show, and we're excited to get this out. All of her information's below. Go follow, go like, go subscribe, do all the things you need to do online.
Yeah.
And we'll see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming.
You.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.